Hi, I'm Dawn. Welcome back to the garden. Today is September 2nd. Hope everybody had a good Labor Day weekend. All right, so now we're going to take you on a little tour. The summer season is winding down, and I'll show you how everything did during the summer, especially during this heat. Plus, summer's not over. We're still going to have a lot of harvesting to do. And the fall garden is already planted. And so I'm going to take you around and show you how everything looks. We're still going to have a lot of stuff to harvest. We still have plenty of tomatoes on, plenty of peppers and basil. So I'll take you along with me and we can look around the garden. So I'll start outside the main garden. Here we have our plum tomatoes, and I have picked a lot already. And we have a lot of clusters still on here. Still early, it's only September 2nd. So we have plenty of time to have them turning red. I got some red ones here. So what I've been doing when I don't have enough to make sauce is I've been taking them in, harvesting them, coring them, and then putting them in the freezer. And then when I have enough and I do my big harvest when they're all ready, then I take them out of the freezer and just cook them in with my sauce. Works excellent. And then I'll show you inside the main garden. So this was cucumbers. Cucumbers are basically done. I did stick a little bit in here. I might get a few from here. I had a lot of seeds left over, so I put some in. Still have some on here. Got a couple more up top. And we had 2 rows of cucumbers, and this is pretty much done too. We got the English cucumbers. Still have some on there, so you can see them. I'll pick this one. See, that's an English cucumber, nice and large, very little seeds. And I'll write the name of this one down. That one was the best of the English cucumbers. Here's another one, very large, nice and skinny. And they are burpless, so they don't bother your stomach if you eat a lot. And you can see, this is what cucumbers do at the end of the season. So they're done. What I should have done is taken half of these out and put new ones in earlier. So I'll try to do that next year. Speaking of next year I'm going to plant only 1 trellis of cucumber instead of the 2. Mainly because I had a very good crop this year, but last year and a year before that I had tremendous crops. So I pickled so many cans of pickles, and Tommy is about a can a week, so that's 1/4 week. And I still have so many left over that next year I'm only going to need 1 trellis. Okay, next I'll show you some tomatoes. Tomatoes are doing awesome, except my Indeterminate tomatoes. They are mainly my heirloom tomatoes, and I'll show you. They have been struggling, not like my Determinate tomatoes. I have a trellis here of tomatoes, and right in front of these cucumbers here, I have a trellis here of Indeterminate tomatoes. And normally they are way past the top, but with this heat, they really stunted those Indeterminate tomatoes. And they're mainly the heirlooms, so they don't have the resistance as some of the hybrids. Some of the hybrids I have are the Determinate ones, so they're more resilient with this heat. But I still have plenty of tomatoes on here, even though they look horrible. These are one of my favorite. This is Blush. And here is the Bumblebee. Bumblebee is awesome. And this is Chocolate Cherry, almost ripe. And then these are, like I said, some of the, this is Black Crim. I got Big Boy, all kinds of things. So this is a nice meaty tomato. This is called Thornburn. I think that's what it's called. I got this free one year from Baker Creek. When you buy seeds from them, they usually give you a pack of free seeds. And I always try them because there's something I wouldn't buy. And it turned out to be a very nice tomato. And I still have lots of red. And I do have some up here that are green, and there's plenty of time for them to turn red. So the tomatoes have done very well. just not as good as last year. This heat and humidity this year has kicked their butts. But everybody in the same boat. And Tom always says we plant extra for the years that this happens, because I'm still eating tomato sauce that I made from last year because we had so many tomatoes. One of the things I was busy with this weekend was making sauce. So I made 20 pints of tomato sauce, 17 pints of juice, and 7 quarts of juice. And the juice I mix, some just is plain juice, which is awesome. And it looks kind of weird because it separates, but it tastes just like drinking a tomato. And then the second batch of juice I made with herbs, you know, oregano, a little basil, salt and pepper, and a little garlic. And we tasted one this morning and it was awesome. So I make juice 2 ways. All right, so here's our broccoli and cauliflower. This was onions. We always try to replant when we take out a crop. So we always try to plan for that. So as soon as the onions came out of this bed, we put in our broccoli. This is a bed of flowers. That's my Lisianthus, which I grew for the first time this year, and I will definitely plant next year. Learning experience, I need to plant them a lot closer. So they have just these little stalks, stems, so the plants can go really close. I didn't know that, how much room they would need, so I didn't do that. But they're about done. I definitely have to come out and make a bouquet. I don't want to show too many flowers today. I'm going to make another video on just my zinnias and flowers because I have some really cool zinnias that I planted this year and I want to be able to show you guys. But this is a bed of bush beans. We planted 3 things of bush beans for the fall so we can can them. 3 different types. So this is my basil bed. And so with my basil, I make pesto. And I freeze it into these little bags. And I was thinking about making a video on me making the pesto. I wasn't sure if anybody would be interested in watching that. You know, when you don't have pine nuts, because who has like a million things of pine nuts sitting in their house when you're ready to make pesto? So I make my pesto with almonds, sometimes pine nuts, and sometimes I add a little pecans instead. Same basic principle of the pesto, just I use different ingredients because I like the taste of the almonds a lot. And I found if you toast them, they even add like another layer of taste. And I make this basil chicken dinner, which is awesome. It's one of our favorite. And maybe I'll make a video on making pesto one day. All right, let's get back to the tour. I'm just babbling. All right, so my bush beans, like I said, we have 3 beds. And this is a pepper bed. Peppers are finally starting to come on now that the heat's broke. It was a hard time for the peppers. This was my dill bed, which is done. And I do have a little bit more dill that I planted, just little sprigs. I don't need too much more dill. I did freeze a whole bunch. And I have some dried from last year still, so what I have here is fine. I want to show you something with the peppers also. And we had this a little with the tomatoes. They had magnesium deficiency. You see the leaves, how yellow spots they are. And then Tom treated them. And now you can see the new leaves are perfectly fine. And we have new flowers. New peppers started. I have to get out here and pick some. These right here are the prism. These are a smaller pepper. They have multiple colored peppers on the single plant. Let's see, here's another example. But then you look at the new leaves and they look good. And these are my hot peppers, which I really have to get out here and pick these. These are my jalapenos right here. And these are my Hungarian wax peppers, and I love to can these, and I can just take them out and put them in food. These are not a hot pepper, but these are always nice because they always change to different colors. I have orange, yellow, red, so they're really cool. I got some poblanos. I'll show you these two rows. I have the plum tomatoes here and my zucchini over here, which, because I grow them upright, that's why there's no leaves on the bottom. And they're not taking over my whole garden. See, all the growth is on the top. But it's the end of the season for them, so they are basically almost done. I still have some, but it's basically done. We have one here. I don't know if you can see, there's one over here. Got a nice sized one up here. Oh, and there's one of my favorites. This is called gray zucchini. Love that zucchini. So that's that. Right across from the zucchini, I have snap peas. They're really starting to grow. And now that the weather's cooled off, they should really start growing because they are a cool weather crop. And then pretty soon they'll get flowers and I'll have some snap peas. So every year I always pick like a tomato or something. I always pick something new to plant to try. So I saw this little tomato. It's a little tomato, it said, like the size of a pea. I don't usually like tomatoes that small. So I decided just to plant it, and the heat did not affect this at all. Now I'm not gonna plant it again next year, but I'm gonna show you how small and cute these little tomatoes are. I don't know what you would do with them because they're so tiny, but it is cute. Can you see that tomato? Look how tiny that is. Look, I've been coming down here and eating them. You just take them, eat them, and you put them in your hand. You take like 5 of them and eat them like it's an M&M. Except they taste like a tomato. And they're very sweet. This, you know, they have clusters of tomatoes. This is what they look like. And it is such a pain picking them, but they're good. I don't think I'd plant them again. I'd rather pick one cherry tomato and eat that instead of picking 5 small little things. But this has not been affected by the heat. Look how big this is. Let me back up. Look how big that is. And if you want a novelty little tomato, that's it. We just planted carrots here. These are going to be fall carrots. You can see them starting to come in. Those were planted earlier, and these were planted a little bit before. Now these were a carrot I got from Felco Seeds. And let me tell you, I do not like them. I will put the name up, and I'll tell you why. Okay. That's not a bad carrot. That's very edible. It's not super long, but I like this because it's all the same size. It's very blunt. Let's see if I get another one. Okay. So they're about that size. They're basically done. What I don't like about it is they have a really hard core. Really, it's not nice to eat. So maybe this will be good in stews or stuff like that, or soups, but it's not a good fresh eating carrot at all. And it's not very sweet. So I will not plant this one again. This is a size I like to set their nice blunt carrot. We normally plant sugar snap carrots. Let me check to see if there's any ready. And I'll show you the difference. These were not done yet. The carrots are not sticking up. How you tell, you can see the carrots basically sticking out of the ground a little bit. They're not doing that. Oh. Let me pull this one up. Let's see what it looks like. Try to pull it up without breaking it. Oh, that's pretty nice. That's a nice sized carrot. Okay, there it is. It's my palm of my hand. It's still not ready. It's gonna get bigger than this, but see how skinny they get? There's nothing wrong with that. This is a really nice carrot, and these taste awesome. That's the difference in size. So this is the Sugar Snacks. I'll get the name of this. I do not like these. The core is so horrible in these. This has no core. You can eat these fresh, or in anything. Cook them. They're awesome. So that's a look at the carrots, and that's what we planted here. We planted the Sugar Snacks again. Like I said, I'm not going to give you a big flower tour. Just want to show you this. This is a dahlia. It's called Thomas Edison. So I will just glance over the flowers for now because I'm going to definitely do a tour of the flowers because I have so many new ones. But this one is gorgeous. This is such a gorgeous cactus zinnia. Isn't that the most gorgeous color? They are so gorgeous. This one's been here out. This one's been open for a long time, but it is so nice. And I have so many different new colors. All right, so here's a look at the tomatoes. I have 3 beds of Determinate tomatoes in here. I have, this is Mountain Fresh. I have Carolina Gold, which is an awesome yellow Determinate tomato. I cannot tell you, that has been the biggest producer of yellow tomatoes that I've ever had. And then, of course, I have Red Deuce also. But, like I said, we had a lot of spider mites and aphids. Tom treated it. And then if you look at all the new growth is nice and green. No damage on them. So they're looking good. It's only September 2nd, so they have plenty of time to ripen up all these tomatoes. And I have so many tomatoes on here. And they're all starting to turn color. We've got some nice big ones in there. And like I said earlier, I will take these tomatoes and I will freeze them until I get a whole bunch. Because they're not all ripening at the same time. Like plum tomatoes usually ripen all around the same time, so you can do batches really quick. But Determinate tomatoes, they don't always do that. But I have so many that are green still. So I'm gonna be able to get a lot more sauce and diced tomatoes and juice. Next thing I wanna show you is something amazing. I have an Amaranth that was a volunteer. Okay, let me try to get this in the picture. So I'm 5'6". I have an Amaranth that's red one right here. It's called Red Spike. See how big it is? It must be, how big is that? 8, 9 feet tall. I'm just impressed. I didn't plant it. And it wasn't even in that bed. It was actually in this bed here with these flowers. So these flowers I have to really get out here and work on. That's why I said I will do a tour another day. I'll give you a quick look. I have to deadhead a lot of them. There's so many that has to be cut off, and the more I cut them off, the more flowers they will produce. So, but this is my beautiful flowers. I've been enjoying these so much, and I got to show you one more color. Oh. Okay, is that the most gorgeous color? I hope it comes up on camera. That is such a beautiful peach, and that's another cactus. And I have all my other amarysses back there. They look beautiful, but they're not as beautiful as that one on the end. So those are my 2 flower beds. This bed is just a winter bed. It's got the Swiss chard, kohlrabi, some lettuce, some beets, and some purple turnips down there, purple tops. And this is my other Determinate tomatoes. This is a Carolina Gold, and it is awesome. This is another row of Determinate tomatoes. This is the Red Deuce. Look at all those tomatoes on there. All full of tomatoes. This bed is my Monte Gusto beans. Right there. They're a wax bean. Very good. And here we have another pole bean. It didn't produce any down here. All the leaves went up to the top. And you see this? Get this down. Oh, pull this off. There. That's Blue Lake. Just a regular pole bean. Nice and skinny. Seeds are small. Very good, very crunchy. Typical, very good bean taste. And they just started producing. They have a lot of flowers on them. Last thing over here, I have some herbs. My strawberry patch, which is doing nothing right now. Just some onions, chives, bunching onions. This is the Mexican sunflower. The butterflies, hummingbirds, everything just flocks to this. The same with the zinnias, but especially this Mexican sunflower. So I finally got a picture of my hummingbird that comes here all the time. So I'll try to put that in the video. So I hope you liked the garden tour. I did stop for a second and pick my Lisianthus. They're almost done, so I thought I'd bring them in the house so I can enjoy them a lot more. And even though it seems like the season's almost over, it's not. I still have a lot of tomatoes to pick. I'm gonna have a lot of bush beans to pick and can, and hopefully get a lot of broccoli cauliflower. Plus everything else is doing well. The peppers should be producing until frost. And then after that, stuff goes in the greenhouse for the winter. And the next video I'm gonna be making is one on my flower beds. I have 4 flower beds. I would say so many of them are zinnias because zinnias are gorgeous. And this year I planted probably 12 different types. And 10 of those types are ones I've never planted before. And I just fell in love with some of them. So I'm gonna be showing those. And I also did Dahlias for the first time this year, and my Lisianthus. So this year was a big flower garden for me, putting that in my garden. I always have flowers in my garden to bring in the pollinators. So I love them so much that Tom was like, make another bed, put some other flowers in there. So I decided to try that, and I actually put in 2 beds, 2 extra beds, so I have 4 total. So I'm really happy with some of them, and I look forward to making that video and showing you my favorite. And I hope you liked the video of the tour, and I hope you come back and watch our garden grow. Bye-bye.